Meanwhile, Russia expects to continue supplying oil to India despite warnings from the United States. Russian embassy officials in New Delhi have said, further adding that Moscow hopes trilateral talks will soon take place with India and China. Russian First Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov said separately that Russia saw scope for supplies of liquefied natural gas to India. Mr. Manturov was quoted as saying by Interfax news agency, "We continue to ship fuel, including crude oil and oil products, thermal and coal. We see potential for the export of Russian LNG." By the way, he also said, according to RIA news agency, that Russia was counting on expanding nuclear energy cooperation with India.
As Washington tightens its trade grip, Russia is rolling out the red carpet for Indian exporters. A senior Russian diplomat in Delhi not only backed India's energy ties with Moscow, but also hit out at US pressure tactics.
If the Indian goods are facing difficulties entering the US market, the Russian market would welcome Indian imports to the most extent possible.
On oil, Babushkin defended India's continued imports of Russian crude, brushing off Western criticism as political posturing.
Russia is the largest producer of oil. India is the largest consumer. Any kind of unilateral actions lead to disruptions in supply chains, leads to imbalance in pricing policies, so it would potentially lead to price hikes and destabilization of global markets.
The Russian diplomat didn't mince words, slamming US sanctions as unilateral and calling the West's actions neo-colonial.
They behave like neocolonial powers, just exploiting and just thinking about the benefit for themselves. We can just agree that this pressure is unjustified, quite unilateral.
Amid a tariff threat issued by the United States for purchasing oil from Russia, the relations between India and Russia have only grown stronger as India continues its trade ties with Russia. Meanwhile, reports suggest Chinese refineries have increased orders for Russian crude as Indian demand slips, with at least 15 cargo ships of Russian oil on its way to Beijing in October and November.
In a world of shifting alliances, India is holding its ground. It's strengthening its trade ties with Russia. It's reviving and resolving its dispute with China while pushing back against the US tariff threat. And all this while, India has kept its national interest front and center. In Delhi with camera person Rohit Vishwakarma, Mohammed Ghazali for NDTV.